Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Mellor Group new listings of the week. My name is Etienne Mellor. I'm the owner of 3 real estate agencies here in Montreal. We cover the greater Montreal. To my right is Mike Francois, Director of Business Development for the Mellor Group. And today we have an exciting show. We've got a bunch of new listings to introduce to you. We're going to show you each one of them. We also have a conversation and news about the tariffs and how that could affect and will affect the real estate market going forward.
Yeah, and that, of course, can affect a lot of people. We're looking at the past 3 weeks that we've been threatened by President Donald Trump about having tariffs that won't only affect Canada, but would affect also countries abroad. So we're looking right now, the way it looks, it seems that there's 10% for China. That's plus whatever they already had in terms of taxes. We're looking at 25% for products coming from China, 25% for products coming from Canada, and 10% from Canada when it comes to energy and resources energy.
So all this beginning of March.
So that could have an impact on construction, major impact on construction.
So we're going to dive deep into that in a minute. But first, let's go to our first listing of the week. We've got Marie-Yvonne Payton and her team, Samuel Demers and company. A beautiful listing, 130 Rue Allen. And while you watch the second property that's listed here from Marie-Yvonne's team, go visit, when you get off the show later on, go visit mypaint.ca for some exceptional properties. Now, we've had a chance to go visit some of these.
Yeah.
They're amazing. She covers everything in the greater Montreal and above, but also she's known for the high-end and the luxury market, which is doing great, actually.
It is doing amazing.
We have Nes Reva at the 111 Avenue Amberley, doing fantastic. Ilio at 9168 de la Poticaire.
Rebecca Ross of the team of Gabrielle, Serge, and Manon at 672 Belmont. And then we also have Michael Chen, 1830 Chemin Bord du Lac, Serge et Patricia, 3811 Bortel.
So let's dive into the tariff situation, Mike. So the Canadian government has announced the countermeasures to respond to the tariff threats. Talking about the lumber and the construction materials, which would have an impact, obviously, on the Americans, but also on
both sides
here.
of the border.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And that would mean higher cost. Basically for home construction. This could affect the supply chain quite effectively, and this could be quite a challenge. But there's also talked about maybe shifting strategies. So that's what we're looking at.
Yes, the Canadian Home Builders Association, the CEO, Kevin Lee, was talking about a solution where we would have to just be better with ourselves, meaning from east to west, have better trade arrangements, if you want. And I think that's the good way of looking at it. Instead of going to the south for our trading, let's go to the east and the west and make that an effective, efficient solution.
Well, I hope so. I really hope so, because they are a big trader of ours. So I'm just hoping that this does not come into effect, because at the end, right now, the builders and developers are already bracing themselves for potential cost increase, very significant. And some are optimistic that maybe the domestic supply can fill the gap, but there's absolutely no guarantee in that. So don't count on that really happening. So we'll see. And if the municipalities don't harmonize building costs across the regions, then that could create even more red tape.
Yeah, so I think the pressure is on us ourselves now. I think it's a good thing in the end when we look at it. If we want to be optimistic about it, is let's think of us and how we interact with this as municipalities, as provinces, and let's come to a solution that benefits us in the end without having to rely too much or maybe as much on the US.
Yeah.
But of course, a lot of uncertainties. This is all happening as we're discussing this every week, every day. There's something new. Keep looking, keep watching the show. Every week we're going to talk a bit more and give you our opinion on what's going on here and report the news on the market. How is it affecting the real estate market locally here in the greater Montreal area? Let's move on to our next listing of the week with the Pedricks.
Yeah, so we got Team Pedricks at 1200 Crescent. We have Lily Lee. Lily Lee, we had an opportunity of seeing her yesterday at a little festivity we had. Lily, 1971 Rue du Havre. Lily right now has 83 listings, so it's quite an accomplishment. We're moving on with Erica Mancini at 267 Khalil Gibran. And then we have Mona Seidel at 5587 Queen Mary.
Congratulations to all these brokers for their great successes this week. We have 236 listings, single-family dwellings in 1 week that was added to the inventory in the Greater Montreal, and 800. We're going to repeat this number.
Yep.
875 condos. Now, the new construction condo market has slowed down with the less interest on the investor side in the last few months. The rates had an impact on that. The ban on short-term, or the restrictions, I should say, on short-term rentals came into affecting this. Now, the last thing we need is these tariffs to slow down that sector even more. But unfortunately, the reality is it is going to slow down. It is going to, unfortunately, put the brake on even more on the new condo construction market.
And the thing is, it's also the affordability. It's a huge problem in Montreal. People don't have a chance to be able to afford property, so that's going to put even more pressure on people that do want to have property access before we see a kind of slowdown.
So there's also the political angle. Trudeau recently hosted the Canada-US Economic Summit in Toronto to discuss, again, the situation with the tariffs. And the main topic here was, again, breaking down the barriers inter-provincial to just try to compensate. And again, I think that's a very good way of looking at it and helping us Canadians to come to a conclusion of a solution without having to depend as much on the U.S. and maybe go look at other international opportunities. Really.
It could be a major game changer.
That's right.
So if it's done right.
Absolutely, Mike. Let's look at the last group of listings that we have for today.
So we have Camellia Fati at 1400 René Lévesque. We have Team Brody with 2 listings, 69 Avenue Kirkwood and 263 Oakdale. Other than that, we have Yasser Syed at 16460 Napoleon Brisebois. And then we have Team McGuigan at 388 Avenue des Oliviers.
So we've covered a lot today, and for potential tariff and their impacts on the housing and the application and the supply chains. And it's going to keep changing, as I say. We have to keep on top of that and see how it's going to affect the market. But for now, you have to just keep in mind that now's the time to buy and not to wait. The potential change in March of the interest rate. There was a story, I forget where, I think it was the Globe and Mail, saying that the possibility of a rate decrease in March has pretty gone away now with everything that's going on. So you can lock your rate now. You can save the rate for up to 3 months, up to even 6 months, depending on the financial institution. You block it without no obligation. And if you end up not buying, so what? It doesn't really matter. But at least you've locked it in, and in case it would go back up, or you would be guaranteed that lower interest rate that you would have locked in right now.
And I know that we didn't go much in depth about all this stuff, but if you do have any questions and you want to dive deeper into it, maybe you have a family member, a friend, or even yourself that want to know more about this, there's no obligation. You can give us a call. It doesn't cost you anything. We've got the knowledge, we've got the personnel to be able to answer those questions and help you, especially at this time when you think that something like that could affect you potentially maybe even the investment that you have right now. So you can reach us at mellorgroup.ca. You can send us a DM directly through Instagram or whatnot and get in touch with us.
So I remind you all that Friday, 10 a.m., we're going to be going over the new open houses of the week. And we're going to keep you abreast. Is that a word? On top of what's going on in the market, on the tariff side of things, and how it's affecting the real estate market. So we'll see you Friday, 10 a.m.
Have a good one.